Waiting for someone to tell them to leave is all they do. I believe that this is being worked on in the background. No matter how the market evolves, Ripple will always have a strategy. Almost usually, their crew is prepared to go. And observing. The fact that so many intelligent people collaborated to create this system, which most people won't even be aware they own, is truly awesome. However, we are aware that in the end, XRP and LUSD will be utilized to swiftly transfer funds around the globe. Regulatory agencies require banks to have highly experienced top managers, including compliance officers, and pioneers in risk control. Ripple would need to demonstrate that it already has someone who is knowledgeable about this or employ someone who is. The intelligence of the Ripple crew has previously been examined. All of this has already been completed internally for the the directors, the members of that board, and LUSD. If necessary, they may phone them and ask them to join this bank. As it expands, I believe Ripple will rank among the world's largest blockchain technology firms. Obtain the funds you require. Switch would require a specific amount of money from Ripple. Tier capital ratios of 4.5%, Tier 1 capital ratios of 6%, total capital ratios of 8%, and debt ratios of 4% are all required for a U.S. national bank. There can be more figures that must be utilized. Keep in mind that Ripple is far wealthier than Circle. Before Circle went public, we examined its financials. That may be a little different now that their shares are worth a lot more, but Ripple has the funds to carry out all of this if they so choose. Furthermore, if you know someone in the company who can help make this happen, sign up and request a charter. Ripple would have to submit a thorough application to the appropriate regulatory agency and open a bank account. This would be the OC for a federal charter and the state banking officials for a state charter. Do you have to know? First, you must decide what type of bank you wish to operate. If Ripple wishes to become a government national bank with all-encompassing capabilities, the OCC may need to advise it on the type of bank charter it requires. Early this year, we observed that the OC did mention that Bitcoin may be used by banks. If the opportunity arises, one of them might be a state charter or even a brand new digital-first charter. Infrastructure businesses may be able to get a new license due to the current drive in the United States. Always remain in. Remember that everywhere, Ripple has rights. They are always seeking further rights, and they currently cover a large portion of the United States. People like Ripple, Gray Kid, and early investors are discussing digital-only charters. This might enable businesses like Ripple to function similarly to banks and concentrate on. You don't need a loan or to visit a physical business to make deposits and payments. However, this material is still in development and is not yet available to the public. That individual would have to create a comprehensive business plan for the bank. How will you respond? How will you assist others? A thorough business strategy that outlines Ripple's objectives, target market, products, services, and estimated revenue would be required. The proposal must demonstrate a legitimate means of earning money while adhering to governmental regulations. Keep in mind that abiding by the regulations is the first step in anything Ripple does. Not only KYC and AML, but all of the rest. This is due to the fact that Ripple does not operate with ordinary individuals like you and me. There are financial market payment methods, banks, credit unions, and among these are state banks as well. Ripple effectively complies with the strictest standards and regulations required by all of the ones I just mentioned. You ought to assemble a capable management group. Since I don't think someone at Ripple hasn't previously written a business strategy, I think the company has already done so. The news has spread. Ripple will become a financial institution. Brad Garlinghouse just mentioned in a tweet how long we've been abiding by the rules. Ripple aspires to become a major bank. In what way does Ripple turn into a bank? This is the only thing I need. I'll also demonstrate how XRP, LUSD, and Ripple will all gain from a bank becoming a Ripple bank. Let's attempt to ascertain Brad Garlinghouse's meaning first. After that, I'll tell you all you need to know. Since Ripple has always complied with regulations, it requests that the OC establish it as a national bank. If it is approved, the federal government and the state, via the NYDFS, will oversee it. People's confidence in the stablecoin market would shift as a result. Additionally, they applied for a Fed master account using regular custody this week. The moment has come for this to occur as banks take the initiative and Congress moves to clarify laws and regulations. This would allow us to keep the LUSD and funds at the Fed right away. This would be an additional layer of security to ensure that we can rely on LUSD at all times. Building reliable, secure infrastructure that has been tried and proved in combat has always been Ripple's mission in a market valued at over $250 billion. This will always be our objective. LUSD is unique since it abides by the regulations which other bodies anticipate. This is exactly what you've been hearing on this station for the past year. How many videos do I have in which I predict that Ripple will become a bank? It's already here. We are always correct. Let's discuss what Ripple needs to achieve in order to become into a bank. When does Ripple begin operations? It has been said often that Ripple aims to be the last service that consumers choose. That would imply that they are a bank or other financial institution that is able to provide funds or support other banks. You can mention states or banks if necessary. I noticed that Ripple needs to complete a few tasks in order to become a bank today. Some of Circle's rivals have already taken that action. Additionally, we'll discuss the benefits and reasons why opening a bank would be beneficial for Make a Swirl. You can call me Crypto Sensei. I appreciate you being here. Let's investigate this further and see what's happening. At the moment, Ripple, opening a bank in the US requires a rigorous, multi-step procedure. The rules are set by state laws and Federal Reserve regulations. There is currently no publicly available evidence that Ripple is actively seeking a banking license. However, recent incidents and remarks from those involved in the scene have generated a lot of discussion regarding how things are regulated. Let me demonstrate what Ripple and a business plan, a governance framework, risk management guidelines, anti-money laundering procedures, and many other items must be included in this application. Additionally, they must guarantee the security of the deposit to protect client data to a certain extent. Banks cannot do such without clearance from the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC. This time, it's around 250,000. Regulators review applications through a lengthy procedure before determining whether to accept them. This entails verifying the financial stability of the business and looking into the backgrounds of important employees, addressing risks and ensuring that the infrastructure and procedures are prepared. It can take a year or longer to do this. If this is the path they're taking, Ripple is probably already working on it. Before granting the final approval, the government may wish to consider further legal measures before the business begins. Then you continued on. Follow up. Government regulators